Hello everybody and welcome to another recipe with Dishes by Deb. Today we are going to be making probably my favorite recipe of all time, and that is artichoke chicken. Now this is a real crowd pleaser. I have made this for many potlucks for friends and stuff, and everybody always loves it, so I am so excited to share it with you today. So for this recipe we are going to be using some lemon juice, some basil, some chicken broth, I like the low sodium kind, some wine, I already have that measured out, 2 cans of artichoke hearts, some shredded Parmesan cheese, garlic, and then a nice loaf of bread. Probably won't use the whole thing. And then, of course, our chicken. So let's get this started. Also forgot to add that we will be putting some butter in this as well. All right, so first we're going to start by chopping up the chicken. We're going to make it into little bite-sized pieces. And then this is going to go into the bottom of our Dutch oven. And I will show you that in just a little bit once I get this all chopped up. So you should be using about a pound of chicken for this. This is a little bit more than a pound. This is probably about 1.5 pounds, but it was what was in the package and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I'm just going to throw all of this into the pot. Now this is probably one of the easier recipes I have. It's almost a one-pot meal. It uses a pan briefly at the beginning, but for the most part, the cooking is done in just a Dutch oven. But we will get into those details a little bit later. But this is really quite the crowd pleaser. I have made this for many occasions and people just rave about how good this is. So this is a great one if you're having company over to make for dinner. This is also great for meal prep for the week. So for instance, I'm actually making this for the days I have to go into the office this week because when I get home from the office, I don't like cooking. So this will be waiting for me so I can just pop it into the microwave and have an easy dinner, so I don't have to worry about cooking on those days I am stuck in the office. So as I'm getting closer to being done chopping this up, the next step will be to arrange this in the bottom of a Dutch oven. I will show you that shortly. Alright, so now we're going to arrange the chicken into the bottom of my Dutch oven here. For this I just use my small Dutch oven. If you make a lot of chicken, if you want to increase the volume of the recipe, you can use a bigger one, but I find my small Dutch oven works perfectly for this recipe. So what I like to do is I like to just kind of arrange the chicken in the bottom, get it all nice and covered, or the bottom of the pot covered, I should say. And then after that, we will start chopping up the other ingredients. Now, you don't need to be super fancy with this. You could literally just dump it in if you want to. So we are just about done getting the chicken all arranged in here. I'm gonna go wash my hands, this is dirty, and we're gonna start chopping up the other ingredients. I'll be back shortly. All right, so next I'm going to just tear apart this bread. This is actually a little bit of a stale loaf. It's a couple days old. I actually kind of like using the stale loaf. It gives it a little bit extra texture. It doesn't get quite as soggy when you cook it. So I'm just gonna kind of tear this up into little pieces, and not really going to measure it. I never measure this. Should be roughly about 2 cups of bread. See, this is quite stale. I had to cut it. Yeah, you don't need to be exact with the size of these. I just kind of tear them up, make them little smaller pieces. So once again, I will add, it is so helpful to get everything measured out, chopped up, divided before you start cooking. That way, you're not trying to do 2 things at once. So it's much easier just to get everything all ready, so then when you start cooking, you will just dump everything in and it will be nice and simple. So the original recipe does call for, I think, 2 cups of bread, kind of broken up into these pieces. But as you can see here, this is probably gonna be more than 2 cups, and that's fine. I have a little extra chicken, so it's gonna work out well. All right, so for the garlic, you're gonna want to peel it and then mince it. I've already peeled these. I forgot to hit the record button. So now I'm gonna mince these, and then we will get on to the next ingredient. So the hardest thing about this recipe, and it's not even hard, I guess the most time-consuming thing about this recipe is chopping. Although there really is not a ton. I mean, obviously there's the chicken, there's the garlic, and then the bread, but everything else just gets measured out, and we'll show that shortly. This should be the end of the chopping, at least. All right, so now we got this all chopped up. Oh, that smells good. We're gonna put that into a prep bowl. And now we're going to measure out all the other ingredients. So now I'm going to rinse out the artichoke hearts. You want to get quartered artichoke hearts. You could get full artichoke hearts, I guess, but then you have to quarter it. So getting them already quartered saves some time, a little less effort. So you're going to want to drain it and rinse them, and then I'm going to put them in this bowl here. All right, got the artichoke hearts all set. Now we're going to measure out the basil, lemon juice, the chicken broth, and then of course the cheese. You can never forget the cheese. All right, so for the basil, I'm just using some dried basil. I'm going to measure out 2 teaspoons of this. There we go. Cap back on. And for the lemon juice, move that aside. So for the lemon juice, we are adding in, how much are we adding for the lemon juice? 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Now for this, you could actually get freshly squeezed lemons. Again, that will probably taste a little bit better, but today I am all about efficiency and, well, I guess laziness. So I am just going to be using the store-bought lemon juice. We're gonna just measure this out. So just 1 tablespoon. So I already measured out the wine. So the wine was half a cup of wine. You can see it here. And now I'm going to add in the chicken broth. So the wine and the chicken broth get added at the exact same time. So I just put them in the same measuring utensil because less dishes to do, right? All about efficiency here. So this is going to be another half a cup. And my broth is leaking. And let's see, what do we have left now? We have butter, and we also need to measure out our cheese. So we need half a cup. So let's find my half a cup. All right, so I just use the store-bought pre-shredded. Again, you can get a block of Parmesan and shred it yourself. Again, that will probably taste a little better, but this is just a quick, easy one for me today, so I am not going to that much effort. I am just doing what I can with what I have. All right, so the last thing I need to do is get out the butter, and we'll be ready to start cooking. Woohoo! So I got lucky, and I have exactly 2 tablespoons of butter left, and that's what this recipe calls for. Now I actually like to divide it just because it makes it melt a little bit faster when it's thinner. You don't need to, but just, you know. Again, it's all about ease here. We're trying to make things as simple and as efficient as humanly possible. All right, got everything measured out. Now it is time to start cooking. Yay! So before you start doing any of the stovetop things, you also want to turn your oven on and heat it up to 350 degrees. So while that's heating up, we're going to get the topping of the chicken ready. So we're going to start by adding the butter to the pan, and we're going to let this melt. And once it's melted, we will start adding in the other ingredients. So also to add, I have the temperature right now on medium-high. Almost melted here. Once this is melted, we will start adding in the other ingredients. So now we are going to add in the lemon juice, garlic, and basil. And we're going to cook it for 1 minute, stirring constantly. We're adding in the lemon juice. Be careful, it might splatter. Lemon juice. Basil. And garlic. All right. So now we're going to stir constantly for 1 minute. Whew. I can already smell it. That smells good. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell this. What is it about these aromatics? They just make everything so good. So good. So next we're going to add in the artichokes, and we're going to cook that, stirring occasionally for about 2 to 3 minutes. So here comes the artichokes. All right. The goal here is really to get the artichokes coated with the spices and then the lemon juice and obviously the butter. So we're just going to mix this up right now, get it nice and coated, and this we're going to let cook for 2 to 3 minutes, just until it's nice and coated and a little bit cooked. It smells so good. Yeah, so when you add the artichokes in, you don't need to stir constantly anymore. You can stir every couple seconds, every minute or so. Main goal is to really get it nice and coated and then slightly cooked. All right, so once this is done cooking, we are going to add in the bread and then the cheese, and then we're going to toss it to combine it for about a minute. Goal is really just to get it nice and combined. You don't want the cheese to get super melted because it might be hard to get out of the pot. And then once that is done, we are going to put this topping on top of the chicken that we had previously arranged in the bottom of my Dutch oven. All right, it's been 2 minutes. Now I'm going to add the bread and then the cheese. Now we're just going to stir this to get it nice and combined. Ooh, that looks so good. Do this for about a minute. So the bread is really going to start soaking up all the juices, the lemon juice, and then the butter. It's going to get a little softer. This is why I like using the bread that's a little stale, so it doesn't get like super soggy. All right, so once this is nice and combined, we are going to take this and we're going to arrange it on top of the chicken that's already in the Dutch oven. Put it a nice even layer. And then you can actually, if you have more of the shredded Parmesan cheese, you can actually put a little extra on top so you get a nice golden cheesy crust on the bake. All right, in about a minute, we're nice and combined. So now we are going to switch things up a little bit here. All right, so now we are going to just scoop out, I'm actually going to get closer, just mini a slip twixt cup and lip. Just going to scoop it out and onto the chicken. This already smells amazing. So once you have this all scooped out, we're going to put it into the oven and we are going to bake it uncovered for 45 minutes. Just as a reminder, you are cooking it at 350 degrees. So I got this nice and arranged on top. All right, so you're done arranging the topping on the chicken, and I'm actually going to add a little bit more cheese on top. This is totally optional. You don't need to do it. If you want to keep it a little healthier, you can omit this, but I like having a nice little golden cheesy topping. I think it makes it look really nice when you take it out of the oven. It's nice and golden, and also I think it just tastes better. All right, so just a little bit of cheese. No such thing as too much cheese, right? Love cheese in this house. All right, I gotta stop myself. All right, so now that we have the topping and then the additional cheese on top, we are going to pour over our wine / chicken broth mixture. So I'm just gonna pour this nice and evenly over. And once we have that done, we are gonna pop this into the oven for 45 minutes and I will show you what this looks like when it comes out. It's gonna be delicious. I cannot wait to show you. All right, 45 minutes is up. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, wow. So here is the finished product. Wow. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so phenomenal. I love the little golden top that you get with the little extra cheese sprinkled on. And it's just, I really wish you guys could smell this. It smells absolutely phenomenal. I really hope you guys like this one. It is one of my favorites, you know, huge crowd pleaser, and, you know, makes a ton of food. So it's great for meal prep on Sunday. So you have a bunch of dinners for throughout the week. So yeah, I hope you guys like this one.